This is a bin, or a trash can, if you're American. People throw garbage in them, and avoid them as much as they can. But without them, our homes and cities would be uninhabitable piles of trash. But there's this one tiny island nation that has almost no public bins. And if you Google cleanest countries in the world, it ranks just below Singapore. Let me say that again. It has almost no bins. No bins. It's like trying to run a marathon without shoes. I mean, you can do it, but unless there's just no shoes available, it's weird. So how is this even possible? And where is Oscar the Grouch going to stay if he wanted to visit Taiwan? Did they even think of that? Did you, Taiwan? Did you? Okay, so let's talk about how Taiwan cleaned up their cities and got rid of all of their bins. Between 1970 and 1990, Taiwan's economy was growing like crazy. The average GDP per person rose from $400 to $8,200. That means that people were raking in about 20 times more than before. That's a pretty good raise. But the price of economic success is high. It's lonely at the top, and apparently really dirty as well. In 1979, local governments were gathering about 8,800 metric tons of waste a day. By 1990, that number increased to 18,800 metric tons a day. At the time, Taiwan had only 22 cities, but they had 400 dumps. That's more than 18 dumps per city. For comparison, Japan has 2.3 dumps per city, Australia has 3 dumps per city, and the US has 6.3 dumps per city. It was becoming very clear that the nation was facing a waste disposal crisis, and this earned them the rather unflattering name of Garbage Island. Residents were frustrated with the air and ground pollution that arose from poorly designed dump sites, and they were furious that the government continued to use landfills after their lease had expired. By 1996, the dumps were overflowing with garbage, and residents across several cities and townships were either blockading landfills or preventing new ones from being built. The government responded by building more waste incinerators. But the people continued to protest due to the toxic air pollution that the incinerators would create. So the government worked with the Environmental Protection Administration, non-profits such as Homemakers United, and looked at examples from South Korea, Japan, and Europe. Then in 1998, they passed the Waste Disposable Act. This landmark legislation made recycling and waste reduction a priority. The two major pieces of this act were the Extended Producer Responsibility Scheme and the Pay-As-You-Throw Scheme. The Extended Producer Responsibility Scheme set the rules for manufacturers and importers to handle their own garbage, or pay a fee to subsidize government waste management programs. The Pay-As-You-Throw Scheme requires citizens to purchase government-approved blue bags to dispose of their waste. The price of the bags range from 3 US cents for a small 3-liter bag to $1.2 for a huge 120-liter bag. But the Pay-As-You-Throw scheme incentivized people to cheat and use public bins to dispose of their household waste. So the government removed almost all of their public bins and replaced them with a system of regularly scheduled garbage trucks that can be heard playing Beethoven when they drive by. In the capital city of Taipei, the trucks stop at over 4,000 different locations, and each location is visited multiple times a day. There's also a mobile phone app that alerts users of nearby trucks. The residents throw their blue waste bags into a bright yellow garbage truck, and then a smaller white truck will follow behind to accept drop-offs of recyclables and kitchen waste. Recycling is free and can be thrown into any bag. Raw kitchen waste is used as compost for farmers, while cooked kitchen waste is turned into slop to be fed to pigs. To make the system more convenient, especially for shift workers, Taiwan has also introduced iTrash stations.
Taipei now has a new way to take out the trash. Use your Easy Card and the door opens. Then you put in your garbage.
These are basically vending machines that charge you for depositing garbage and pay you for recycling. The iTrash machines pay users in the form of credit that can be used on public transport. Some businesses even accept the credit as payment. The regulation set up a good system for reducing waste and collecting recyclables, and it also raises the public awareness of their own waste producing habits. Having to pay for trash, having no bins, and having to wait for trash trucks forces people to consider their waste more carefully. Then they also realized that sorting out their recycling means paying less for waste disposal, and this changes people's purchasing habits. The only issue that remains is littering, especially with the absence of public bins. I mean, imagine that you went out and had a bubble tea. Now you've got to hold on to the packaging until you get home, or whenever the next truck comes around. And you got to get yourself a blue bag as well. So yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if a lot of people just wanted to throw it on the ground. So the government invests a large amount of money into keeping waste management in the public consciousness. Video cameras are also hidden all around the cities to catch violators. First-time offenders are given a warning from officials. Second-time offenders will receive fines of up to $200. The person's picture or video feed will be posted with their face blurred out as a form of public shaming. And the government also offers up to half of the value of any fines collected as a reward to citizens who provide evidence of violators. The public shaming thing is a bit of an ethical conundrum, but I guess you can look at it this way. People have culture, and culture is basically a set of values that people believe in that allow them to live and work together. One value is the human right to privacy, and another is the importance of environmental sustainability. So in this case, Taiwan considers the importance of environmental sustainability as equal to or more important than the right to privacy of individuals who litter. In 1997, before the signing of the Waste Disposable Act, the recycling rate was around 6%. In 2011, that number reached 55%. This has Taiwan tying for 5th place with Belgium in terms of world rankings for their recycling rates, which is a big accomplishment in such a short amount of time. In contrast, the recycling rate of Australia is 41%, and the recycling rate of the US is 35%. Taiwan's waste disposal has also dropped, from 1.14 kilograms per person in 1998 to just 0.4 kilograms per person in 2015. That's a 65% drop. The nation also has more than 1,600 recycling companies in operation, and the thriving industry generates around $2 billion in revenue a year. Taiwan still falls short of Germany's 65% recycling rate, but they have proven that the world can exist without public bins, and that a small densely populated island nation that was once called Garbage Island can rise to be one of the world's leaders in recycling and waste management. Most waste management programs around the world rely almost entirely on the government. People are free to consume and produce as much waste as they like, and have little to no incentive to be conscious of their environmental impact. But Taiwan puts the onus on the consumer. They made sustainability a core part of their culture and made consumers personally responsible for the waste that they produce. Instead of the government doing everything, the system needs to be designed so that the people and the government can work together. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I had a really good time trying to piece together this crazy system that Taiwan has. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe.